Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Intro to General Services Pilot Program webinar hosted by the City of Charlotte General Services and the City of Charlotte Contractor Development Program. My name is Carlos Ray. I'm here on behalf of Meriwether and Williams, a Hub International company that administers the City of Charlotte Contractor Development Program. We have some great information for you today from General Services, from CBI, and more information about the Contractor Development Program. Just wanted to welcome you all this afternoon. Hope you have some notes or a phone or iPad or something where you can write down some great information and resources that we're going to make available to you. If you have any questions throughout today's webinar, please use the Q&A function, not the chat, the Q&A function. Enter your chat there, and we'll do our best to answer your questions live to the speaker that you may have the question to. So we just want you to be an active participant. If you can change your name and add your company name. That might be great for people to see as well. We really want you to be just an active participant. Ask your questions. No question is too small or too big. We'll do our best to answer it. If not, we can provide contact information where it can be taken offline if a more detailed answer is needed. So thank you all for being here with us this afternoon, this evening. We go to the next slide. All right, with that, we're going to get right into our presentation today. I'm going to invite Ashley Price up from City of Charlotte Department of General Services, and we'll get started. We're there. So Ashley, welcome, and thank you for being here with us this afternoon.
Ashley, we don't have audio for you.
Yeah, can't hear you. No, not yet. Nothing yet. So I think what we can do while Ashley's working through that, we'll just have, if you guys don't mind, we'll have the General Services team introduce you guys yourselves so people are familiar with who you are and what role you're in while she's working on that. And then hopefully that'll allow enough time. Nothing yet, Ashley, I'm sorry. So if everybody's okay with that, Allison, I'll just start with you if that's all right.
Yeah, no problem. My name is Allison Brickey. I'm the program manager of our in-house design team. So we have sort of been leading the design efforts for these pilot projects.
Thank you. John.
Good afternoon. My name is John Long. I'm the City of Charlotte Construction AES Procurement Manager.
All right, thank you. Kathleen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kathleen Cishek. I'm the interim city engineer in the Department of General Services. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Becky.
Hello, I'm Becky Chambers. I am the interim deputy city engineer for General Services. Welcome.
You, Penny.
Hello, everyone. I'm Penny Helms. I am the procurement officer for the Construction and General Services of City of Charlotte. Glad you can make it.
Thank you. Keith.
Hey, everybody. I'm also with General Services. I'm the Engineering Services Division Manager.
Phil.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Phil Rieger. I'm the Director of General Services, and I just want to thank everybody for their time this evening.
All right. Is that everyone? Can we try it again?
So perfect timing too.
So I joined from my phone and from my computer. My apologies, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I'm Price, Deputy Director with the Department of General Services with the City of Charlotte. I want to echo Phil's comments. Thank you all so much for being here. We're excited that you wanted to join us and learn more about some of the really exciting things we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be introducing you to the Department of General Services. We serve a vital role for our residents and for our community. We're made up of approximately 400 dedicated employees, all of whom are responsible for I would say, an incredibly broad range of services that support the city's infrastructure and our operations. General services, you can go to the next slide. Should I keep rolling even without the slides? I'm happy to do that. Yeah. So we play a key role in managing and maintaining the city assets and infrastructure. And we will break down our services. We tend to break down our services into 4 main categories. We buy, we build, we maintain, and we protect. So we handle the acquisition and contracting of property and services essential for city infrastructure projects, along with procuring goods and services for citywide use for all of our different departments, for most of our different departments. We build, so our team manages the design and construction of crucial infrastructure, including our roads, bridges, trails, public facilities like police and fire stations. We ensure that the city's fleet and properties are well maintained. This includes everything from city-owned buildings to public cemeteries and our cultural facilities as well. And we are also committed to protecting the environment through initiatives like the council-approved Strategic Energy Action Program by maintaining Charlotte's iconic tree canopy, putting in EV chargers and solar and things like that. So we're going to take on the next slide, we're going to take a closer look at how our department is organized. And we are organized around primarily 3 major business units, which you can see here: engineering and project management, asset management, and management services. The first, engineering and project management, focuses on construction, engineering services, facilities construction, and ensuring compliance and controls in all projects. So that's where we're designing and building our capital projects. Asset management, which handles our operations, fleet management, landscape and environmental services, as well as safety. And then our management services business unit oversees real estate, which also supports capital projects, of course, finance and budget, city procurement, and ensuring that our projects are financially sound, that we have the necessary resources to operate efficiently. So just some general support things. And then we have our engineering and project management specifically unit on the next slide, which is led by our city engineer, Kathleen Cishek, and it includes 4 divisions that support the implementation of our capital projects, including construction, survey, and utilities. And these are, by the way, alphabetically listed, not necessarily in terms of like timeline listed here. But our construction, survey, utilities group oversees the actual construction of our capital infrastructure projects. Our engineering services group is responsible for designing and managing our capital projects to meet the city's growing needs. So they are the ones who we have a design program, and then we have other programs that actually have our project managers that oversee those projects. And then we've got facilities construction. They focus on planning and designing and constructing our new facilities. They also oversee major renovations of existing facilities. We also have a project controls and compliance division that ensures that all of our projects are implemented effectively with some rigorous control procedures in place. Next slide. So we're going to dive in a little more deeply, or I guess at all, into the reason we're all here, which is talk about the informal solicitation pilot program. These are specifically for general CIP projects that are valued under $500,000. And so that means they are informal. That's why the word informal is there. We break those down primarily into 2 main categories. But before I get into exactly what you're looking at, we're so excited about this program. It's an incredibly important initiative intended to engage our MWSBEs in these capital projects and ensuring that these processes are accessible and manageable for the firms that are bidding and winning these. So they are requests for quotes that are a part. So that all of these are solicited by invitation only, and that's going to be managed through our Bonfire e-bidding platform. And so, and the link is here in this presentation, and I'm sure that you will all get this information at the conclusion of this, but it's gobonfire.com. And so if you are registered with the city's, with the Charlotte Business Inclusion Program, and you have entered the appropriate vendor codes, then you will be invited to join. So if you are not registered as a vendor, you're not a part of the CBI program, please get registered and we can make sure that we help you do that. This has been an incredibly rewarding and great collaboration between Meriwether Williams, General Services, and Charlotte Business Inclusion. And we are all really excited at what we've sort of experienced so far in this pilot program. And then some of my colleagues will tell you a little bit more about the upcoming opportunities very shortly. So the categories themselves, you've got the under 300,000 and you've got the between 300 and just under 500,000. There's some things that are the same, right? We are invitation only, targeting our MWSBEs. The under 300 does not require a bid bond, which will allow for some easier access for folks where the bid bond may be a bit of a barrier. Between 300 and 500, we do require, or the bid bond is required. You see here that on the less than 300,000, there is a relatively limited administrative workload, making it easier and faster to manage these projects. And then often also in that under 300,000, these projects are self-performing, which means the contractor who wins the bid will complete the work themselves. There's no need to subcontract. Then, of course, from the 300 to 500, the administrative workload is still relatively low, but somewhat higher, just due to the project size. And then there may be subcontracting that could be needed, just depending on the scope and scale of each individual project. That, again, you'll hear about the upcoming opportunities shortly. And so next slide, that covers all of the things that I am here to introduce you to and to make you aware of. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to take those. But with that, we will just pass it over to, I believe it's Allison.
Hey, Ashley, this is Mike. Do you mind explaining to the group the difference between the informal solicitations versus being on Bonfire?
I would love to do that. Can you say the last part of that sentence one more time?
Yeah, sorry about that. Do you mind explaining to the group the difference with the informal invitation only versus something being on Bonfire for public view?
So absolutely. And I will give a broad sort of overview. And if you would like more specific detail, then I would invite any of my colleagues to jump in and add more. But something that is just posted broadly on Bonfire would be available for anyone who goes to the website to see. They would then be able to respond to that solicitation just as they would anything that you would see on Bonfire, right? So these invitation only ones are different in that we are only making those vendors that fit the criteria aware. And so that means they will receive a direct communication through Bonfire, inviting those vendors to provide a quote in response to these solicitations. And did I cover that?
Yeah, I think that's super helpful for contractors on here to know the opportunities that are designed for them.
Perfect. And I think that's also, it's why it's so important that you get registered, that you have the commodity codes that you feel are most appropriately representative of what it is that your business can offer, so that you're sure to get the invitation for the ones that are coming up and as a part of the pilot program. Any questions or any support in getting registered? CBI is a wonderful, wonderful partner and can help make sure that we've got all that correct in our system too.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. So I don't see any questions in the Q&A, so we'll definitely invite Allison up to cover this next portion of the presentation.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Ashley. Good evening, everybody. We are excited about these projects that we've selected for these informal solicitations. You can go to the next slide, Carlos, and I'll jump right into it. So we've been doing this for a couple weeks now. There have been a couple projects that you may have already seen come through. The currently open informal solicitation projects are the HUX at HUX Landing RRFB. That is a rectangular rapid flashing beacon that is up in the northeastern side of the city. It'll include some concrete sidewalks, some curb ramps, a median with a pedestrian refuge, and obviously the rectangular rapid flashing beacons on both sides of the road. It's near a school there. The anticipated construction cost is between $200,000 and $250,000. That is on Bonfire now for you all, and the bids are due August 22nd. The other one that's open at the moment is 5212 Sharon View Sidewalk Gap. This is a sidewalk that's about 600 feet in length. It'll connect to sidewalk on both ends. There's some grading, some curb ramps, a little bit of asphalt pavement, some storm drainage and a driveway on this one. The anticipated construction cost here is between $100,000 and $249,000. That's open now, and the bids for that one are due August 29th. Next slide, please. In addition to those, we have several upcoming projects that I'll go into more detail on the upcoming slides. You can see there's a sidewalk gap at Valleydale and Coolwood. There's a pedestrian crossing, which is a raised crossing at Baldwin and Main. There's a pedestrian hybrid beacon on Sharon Road near Selkirk. There's an intersection improvement on Beatty's Ford at Oaklawn. And there's another pedestrian hybrid beacon on Eastway near Biscayne. Next slide, please. One important thing I'll note is that on all of these slides for the upcoming informal solicitations is they have an anticipated posting date. And especially for this first one, you're going to see that it is a little different because we actually just posted this one today. But those anticipated postings should be within about a week of when we expect them to be posted. So this is Valleydale at Coolwood Sidewalk Gap. You can see there's a gap in the sidewalk there on Valleydale Road between Coolwood and Millwood. It's about 415 feet of sidewalk that we'll put in there for some pedestrian safety. It'll include the sidewalk, some curb ramps, grading, and a driveway. The anticipated construction cost for this one will be between $100,000 and $249,000. You can go to the next slide, and we'll take a little bit closer look at the plan sheet here. Since actually this one, like I said, was posted today. The anticipated posting was going to be next week, but you can go on Bonfire tonight and get this one if you'd like. So here's a little view of the plan sheet. As you can see, it's a little stretch of concrete sidewalk. It'll have one driveway with some driveway pipe underneath, and a little bit of grading to go along with it. You can go to the next slide. The next one that will come in line is Baldwin at Main Pedestrian Crossing. This will be a raised pedestrian crossing on Baldwin Avenue near Main Street. It includes just a little bit of concrete sidewalk and curb ramps with a little bit of concrete curb and some asphalt pavement, and a storm drainage trench drain for this one. So it'll be a little unique. We'll take a look on the next slide of the plan view. That anticipated posting is August 27th, and the anticipated construction cost will be between $50,000 and just under $100,000. So next slide. So here you can see, it's kind of hard to see the trench drains, but they are where a gutter would be on either side of this raised crossing. So that's the trench drain, and then a little bit of sidewalk, the curb ramps, and some asphalt work here. You can go to the next slide. This one will be a pedestrian hybrid beacon on Sharon Road, just south of Selkirk Road. This one will include the traffic signals, which will be installed on a mast arm that will be in place ahead of time. It'll also include pedestrian signals and all of the conduit required for that signal. There will be a little bit of asphalt pavement and pavement markings, some concrete sidewalk, curb and gutter, and those curb ramps to get the pedestrian across. The anticipated posting for this one will be September 3rd, and the anticipated cost for this one will be between $250,000 to just shy of $500,000. You can go to the next slide. So here you can see most of the signal equipment that sits behind the sidewalks. There'll be pool boxes, conduit, cabinets, and you can see that mast arm that comes out. We'll need signal heads on those, as well as the pavement markings and the ramps. This is on a city street here, so we would follow the work area traffic control handbook. We call it the WATCH for short. So we would use that for all of our in-roadway work here. You can go to the next slide. This is the Beatty's Ford at Oaklawn intersection improvement project. There will be some upgrades to traffic signal detection, some pedestrian signals and conduit to be installed, concrete sidewalks, curb ramps, and some truck aprons here, as well as asphalt pavement and some pavement markings. We anticipate the posting for this one to be September 10th, and that anticipated construction cost to be between $250,000 to just under $500,000. You can go to the next slide. Here you can see those truck aprons a little clearer. You can see there are just a few new pool boxes needed and some conduit and some PED signals, new ramps, lots of new asphalt, and obviously there'll be some new markings. They would be on a different sheet, but you'll get that when you check out the whole plan set later. This one is also on city maintained streets. So you'd be looking at just the WATCH handbook for traffic control here. Next slide, please.
Hi, Allison. Oh, I do have one question.
Yeah.
Will or can the city provide assistance with relocating telephone poles for any of these projects?
I assume that's specifically regarding the signals. The city will work ahead of time with Duke to have the signals set for you. So the one that requires the mast arm, that mast arm will be in place. We would look to the contractor doing the other signal items. And then that last signal that we just looked at Beatty's Ford and Oaklawn, those poles will already be in place. It'll just be some signal modifications. However, we will want them to install all of the pedestrian signals. So all of the push buttons and the pedestals for those.
All right, thank you. I don't see any other questions at this time.
Okay. And then the last one we have on our list at the moment is the Eastway Biscayne pedestrian hybrid beacon. It's another pedestrian hybrid beacon on Eastway Drive, just a little bit east of Biscayne Drive. This will include the traffic signals, the pedestrian signals, the conduit, some asphalt pavement and pavement markings, a bit more concrete curb and gutter and sidewalk, and some curb ramps as well. The anticipated posting for this one will be September 17th. And that anticipated construction cost is between $250,000 and just under $500,000. You can go to the next slide. And you'll see this one has a little bit more curb and median work than the others. I will also mention that this one is on an NCDOT maintained street. And they have stated that they will not allow any road closures Monday through Friday. So if you're doing work that requires a lane closure, then they would ask that that be weekend work for this project. Again, we will have the utility poles. One of them will be done ahead of time. However, one of them is to be placed within the area that is currently a roadway travel lane. And will be in that future planning strip area. So there will be a utility pole that must be relocated during construction for this one. And I think that's my last slide. So any questions on any of these before we pass it on?
No, I'm not seeing any questions in the Q&A function so far. But thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Allison, for that great information. And again, we will have other presentations that you hear this afternoon. We will send that out via email following this webinar. So if you missed something or you didn't get a chance to write something down, don't worry, we will get that information to you. So we'll keep moving forward. So I'm sure you're thinking like, man, these are some great opportunities. I would love to do it, but how do I get involved? So that's a great question to ask on a Wednesday evening. And I'm going to invite Naima from CBI to help you get some of those questions answered. Naima.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this program this evening. I want to thank Meriwether as well as General Services. You all have been great to work with in reference to this project and getting our MWSBEs involved. And I greatly appreciate working with everybody. But how do we get involved? How can we ensure that our MWSBEs are listed for these projects? One, you want to make sure on the next slide, you want to make sure that you are a registered minority business enterprise, a MBE. You can be a woman business enterprise, of course, that's the WBE, or a SBE. And the SBE must be with the City of Charlotte. We do not recognize the SBE certification with the NC Hub office. We only recognize the MBE and the WBE from the Hub office. In the chat earlier this evening, I placed a link in the chat to show you where you can register for your business, whether you are currently an MBE, WBE, or if you want to apply for your SBE, you can do that on that link that I've placed in the chat. On the next slide, we want to make sure for those vendors that are already in B2G, we need to ensure that the following information that you show is up to date. We have to have your current contact information. That is important. This information is going to be going out via email. So we need to make sure that we have your current email address. And when we follow up with you, we want to make sure that your telephone number is also correct. Please ensure that you check your profiles in B2G for your commodity codes. This is how we determine who receives the invites for particular bids. So as Allison was going through telling you everything that you would do on a particular project, the commodity codes are what's going to drive the invitation list. So if you're doing sidewalk, you want to make sure that you have that code listed. If you do traffic controls, please ensure that you have the correct commodity codes listed so that you're placed on that invitation list. And also, you want to make sure you keep up with your certifications. Currently, right now, the NC Hub office is on a 90-day processing time. So if you are up for recertification for your MBE or your WBE, you can look right now about 90 days out for them to have that recertified. So please keep up with your certifications to ensure that you're getting that done timely, as well as your SBE with us. The SBE certification does not take us long. We're currently about at a 30-day processing time. If you have your MBE or your WBE, but it's not registered with the City of Charlotte, that is a fairly quick process. That is less than a 48-hour turnaround time frame on those. So if you need to register your business as an MBE or a WBE, please make sure you can submit it online on the link that was provided, and we can get those processed fairly quickly. And the last slide that we have is our CBI contact information. This is our telephone and email if you need to reach us. And our certification specialist, Kimberly Tibbs, this is her current contact telephone number to reach out to her if you have any questions. Your best way to get your questions answered sooner, though, would be through email. We have that being monitored 24/7, so we can make sure we get an answer back to you. But if anybody has any questions or any info that you would need on the Charlotte Business Inclusion Program, please feel free to let me know. I believe I have a coworker, Julius. He is also on the call as well. He is over our outreach department. So please reach out to us. We are here to help, and we want to make sure that our MWSBEs are able to participate on these projects. Thank you, Carlos.
No, thank you, Naima, and thank you for sharing that information. So yes, as you see the contact information there, again, we will be sharing the slides with you. So if you don't have a chance to take note of this, don't worry, you will receive it via email. I did want to address two questions that I saw. Oh, one of them just went away, but I'll address the one that I see. This may be more so for Allison than you, Naima. They just wanted to confirm that all or most poles will be relocated prior to starting.
Except for the very last project I spoke about, the East Way of Biscayne, there is one pole that has to be moved during construction. It will be done by others, but it has to be coordinated with the contractor's work because we have to have the new curb and gutter in place to be able to place that new pole within what will be a future planning strip that is currently roadway. All of the other ones will have the poles in place ahead of time.
Great, thank you. And then the other one that was actually answered in the Q&A, but I'll just read it so everyone, just in case you didn't get a chance to see it. The question was, will quick pay be offered? And the answer is quick pay is not currently available, but is actively being considered as a potential option. Our current standard is to pay invoices within 30 days of receiving an accurate and complete pay application. So that was just the one question I didn't see. Great, thank you. All right, so we're good. We can, if there's no other questions, feel free to add them in the Q&A and we'll get to them. We'll have a few minutes at the end as well to get to any questions we may have missed. But we can go to the next slide. Oh, and that's me. I guess I already introduced myself, so I don't need to do it again. But yeah, we're here. This is for the City of Charlotte Contractor Development Program. So we can go to the next slide. As you probably heard a few people say, Meriwether and Williams. We are the organization that is working with CBI and the City of Charlotte to administer the Contractor Development Program. We are a full-service property and casualty insurance brokerage firm, but we are really known for a lot of our bonding, technical assistance, and contract financing programs, also with our contractor development programs. So we work with the Wonder Group, who a lot of you may know, to do outreach in the City of Charlotte. So that I'm sure that's how a lot of you heard about today's webinar. We can go to the next slide. So what's the purpose and mission of this program? I'm going to read this because I always think this is just really important to understand. So it's to reduce the barriers of bonding and capacity, enabling greater and successful participation of small, local, minority, women, and disabled veteran-owned businesses and public contract opportunities. In short, we try to help level the playing field as best as we can. A lot of times we know people can do the work, but they just need the support on the back end to help create more opportunities and build your capacity. So how we do that with the Contractor Development Program is what we call the 4 pillars of contractor development. They are assessment and technical assistance, bonding, contract financing and project assistance, education, training, and contract support, and prime contractor partnerships. And I will explain what all that means in the coming slides. So next slide, please. All right, so just a little bit about bonding, because this is a big part of what we do at the program. We do help you with your bonding. So if you don't have it, we can help you get it. And we also help you can grow your capacity through bonding. So in short, bonding is a 3-party agreement that guarantees that a contract gets completed. Some key things to know: it protects another party, not you, usually the owner. You can't purchase it, you have to qualify for it. And unlike insurance, it doesn't expect any losses. So you do have to qualify for that and you work with a surety or brokers that we have partnerships with at the program. And why is this necessary? It's usually required by law on all public works projects. You can cite the Hurd Act and Miller Acts, and usually at the local and state level, they're referred to as Little Miller Acts. So it looks a little bit different in each city or state that you may go to. And a big thing about this is which can work great for you as a contractor. It acts as a pre-qualification instrument to your ability. So as your bonding capacity grows, the size of the contracts and projects that you do grows. And so people can see a track record of your company as you're growing and taking on more work and more projects at a bigger cost. So just a little bit about bonding for you guys to take with you. Next slide. So services that we offer at the contractor development program, like I mentioned, attaining or increasing your bonding capacity. We help you with your development and capacity building and technical services. We have a really great contract financing assistance program, which I'll talk a little bit about later. So how this usually works is you'll enroll in the program and you'll receive an email or a call from a dedicated contractor development manager, or you may hear them referred to as an account manager. And what that person does, that's going to be your point of contact for everything that you may need to do through the program. What I like to explain to people is it's not a cookie cutter program. Sometimes you go to other programs and you kind of get the same experience everybody else has. But here we tailor it to where your business is. So they'll start you with an assessment to understand what you want to do. Some of you may have already done that as you are enrolled in the program. You'll start with an assessment. Help you develop a work plan, and you'll start your experience with the program there. We have agency collateral support. So that's for bid performance and payment bonds for qualified contractors. Again, bonding, you have to qualify for it. We offer accounting subsidies. So sometimes you may have to prepare CPA statements, financial statements. So we have $3,200 that you're able to use if you need those statements prepared. And then we do send out biweekly bid opportunities through a newsletter that we send out usually on Mondays or Tuesdays early in the week, every other week. So I think the next one should be coming out on Monday that has events, that has resources, that has project opportunities, need to know information. We'll most likely have a recap of this event there as well. So that's where you can stay in tune with the program, stay in tune with what's going on around the city, different projects that may be coming up that you may be interested, just kind of like a one-stop shop right there in your email inbox. So once you enroll, you automatically get added to that, and you'll receive that once it's distributed. Next slide. All right, so technical assistance, as I mentioned, when you speak with your account manager, they'll do that assessment and work plan. They'll talk to you about a contractor profile, which you kind of see a small picture of in the right-hand corner of the screen. It's almost like a one-page marketing sheet front and back that has all the information about your company that would be attractive to someone you want to do business with. So it'll have your logo. It'll have maybe a picture of a recent project you've completed. It'll have maybe your NAICS codes. It'll have your bonding information, what level you can bond at. It'll have your certifications. It may have a license number. It'll definitely have your contact information. So if they like what they see, they can get in touch with you. On the back, you may have a statement about what type of business your company is, the type of work you've done, some recent projects you've completed. So just a one-stop shop that you can take with you in hand or send out digitally that we'll create with you that you can use to help market your business and make sure you're getting in front of the right people and creating opportunities. We can assist you with certification. So as you mentioned, as was mentioned, you do have to be an MWSBE for these opportunities, so we can help you work with CBI to get those done. We do bid document review. So as you're getting ready to put a bid together and submit it, we can help you review it. We don't advise on numbers or anything like that, but we can ask you certain questions that help you make sure that you're being responsive. The reason we don't help with numbers is just because we don't want to be responsible if you say, hey, Carlos, you told me to bid $1 million and it was only 100,000. So we don't get into that, but we do help you in other areas with the bid review. We have contract completion support. So we're pretty much a full service program. We help you pretty much from the initial onset of the project. So once you review it or you see it on Bonfire or you look at it and you say you're interested, we can help you all the way through closeout, and I'll explain more of that coming up. We do monthly workshops. So we just hosted a layman's guide to contract terms about a week ago, I believe, 2 weeks ago now, that covered contract terms. We have an insurance for contractors that's coming up at the end of the month to talk about the types of insurance you may need for your company and on different projects you may be working on. We do construction training academies. So we do bidding and estimating, which talks to you about how to put your bid together, how to assemble your package. And the great thing about this, and Robert, who's from our team, leads this class, you put together a mock bid project, if you will. So you'll get put into teams and you'll actually work on a previous bid that's already been completed, but you get real-time practice of what you're learning about. So we invite some of the larger general contractors that you may see in the area to come teach these weekly classes. It's usually about 5 to 6 weeks for each class. and you learn different topics. But as you're learning the different topics, you're applying them to that mock bid project that you're working on with your team members. And so we treat it like a real thing. You have a due date, you have a due date for submitting your RFI questions, things like that. And so we treat it, and then at the end of the class, we'll do a bid opening, if you will, and we'll talk about, you know, where you went wrong, where you went right, all those different things. So that's a great thing to be a part of. And I believe we have bidding and estimating, if I'm not mistaken, coming up very soon. So if once you get enrolled and once you sign up with us, we will make sure you get that information, and you'll work with your account manager to get involved with that. And then we have a prime partnership program. This works with the larger GCs. As I mentioned, they come in and teach some of our academy classes, but we also make referrals to them. So if they're looking for certain trades, or they have a project coming up and they want to do outreach to small businesses, they'll come to us and we'll share information that way. We also create networking opportunities. So sometimes at these classes, you'll get to meet the lead project lead, or the lead estimator, or someone of that nature, and build a relationship there. So it's a full circle program where you can kind of get in the inside door, if you will, or go through the front door to meet a potential prime that you may end up working with. Next slide. All right, so a little bit about our contract financing assistance program. We do this in partnership with the Carolina Small Business Development Fund. So a couple of things just to note that's really important. You do have to be enrolled in a contractor development program. That's the first thing. And then you have to be certified as an MWSBE. So what you do with this program, you have to get pre-qualified before the time of bid. And what this does is act almost as like a short-term loan, if you will, as you're getting started on the project, getting things going. Sometimes it may take a little time to get paid. And so this will help you with materials and different costs as you're waiting for those first payments. It can work with construction contracts, and it's only for approved projects. So we work with you. We do a 2-day workshop to talk to you all about the program, what it involves, what you'll be responsible for, how to do your cash flow projections, learn everything about, you know, what you'll be getting into. It usually does a max of $250,000 per project. Doesn't mean everybody's going to get $250,000, but that's as high as we go, and we do it based on where you currently are as far as your business is concerned. And then one thing to note is money is released as needed. It's not all up front. So if you are approved for, let's just say, a $250,000, you may not get all of that because you may not need all of it. So we really are responsible with this. And Robert, I see you came off mute, so I know you have something to add.
No, I just want to add, with the CFAP program, the pre-qualification that Carlos mentioned, it takes about 30 days. So we strongly advise, if you're interested in the CFAP, is to reach out to your CDM or, you know, to us, and we'll get you started, because it does take quite a while. It's not like oh, I need it in a week. No, it takes a little bit of time to get you pre-qualified. So once you're pre-qualified, then when you have the opportunity that arises, then it takes about a week to plug in the new numbers to get the actual amount. So that's, I just want to add that to that. And, you know, it's like, it's not a guarantee, you know, your subcontract agreement is used for consideration for the loan. So it's not like a traditional loan, and it's only used for the project, not for paying other bills and stuff. So we control the money. So I just want to add that in there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a really important piece. You definitely want to start the work to get pre-qualified before you even thinking about, or starting before you submit your bid. You want to do that early. As Robert said, it takes some time to do that. I don't know where I left off, but as far as the interest rate and fees, they're usually competitive with the market rate. And the fees is normally below market, but that will be discussed with you as you go through the pre-qualification process. Some ways this can help. So it may help you boost your credit score. As I mentioned, kind of similar to bonding, it may improve the likelihood of you getting future capital from a traditional lender. It could speak to your capacity as a contractor and your finances. And you'll learn a few things in that workshop. So I mentioned your cash flow. You know, you learn the questions about, okay, can I afford this? Will this make me money? Those types of things. So it's really something that, you know, if you're thinking about doing work, if you're doing public work, and you have ideas or you have thoughts about it, this will be something you want to get started with now before you even get to that point of submitting a bid, because it does take time. Next slide, please. And let me check the questions while we're doing that. Only funding for public jobs. I'm assuming this is for the CFAP or contract financing assistance. Right now, yes, public contracting only at this time. All right, so I mentioned bid document review and how we support you through the entire span of the contract. So we start off with attending pre-bids or pre-proposal conferences to help you understand the project. And so we understand the project as well. We'll review the contract with you, so review the plans and specs and help you identify risks and help you identify which documents are required for that bid. We'll help you do a final bid document review, and then we'll do a post-bid debrief. So if you were awarded, what you did right and what things went well, where you may be able to improve. And then if you don't get awarded, the same thing, you know, what went well, what didn't go well, where things may be able to be improved. And that disclaimer really just says what I said earlier. We don't help with numbers, but we kind of help you figure out how to be responsive. Next slide, please. All right, so let's just say we went through the bid review, we did your review, and you were awarded a project. So we help you with contract completion support. So we'll do a project kickoff meeting. We'll have a job start checklist of all the things you'll be responsible for. So that kickoff meeting will usually involve you and the owner and the prime if you are subcontracted to a prime. We'll do contract and principal status reports. So we have monthly check-ins. We can assist with billing and payments. We'll help you understand the construction schedule and how to navigate it and where you are in the schedule and how that all ties into the completion of the overall project. We do site visits. So we'll actually come to your site and make sure if you have any issues or problems or questions, we can help you in those areas. And then we help you with reviewing change orders and your log of change orders to make sure that everything is good there and you have all the change orders that you need and they're submitted in a timely fashion. And yeah, Robert.
Just want to add to this as well. You know, we also look at safety. So if you have any issues with safety or concerns, you know, please feel free. That's part of this contract completion support. It's not just the monetary and your quality, but safety. So it's a holistic approach that we tailor just to you. You know, we're out in the field with you, your field guys, or we can attend the OAC meetings or whatever the support you need. We want to make sure that you complete the job successfully. You know, and billing is a critical thing, you know, getting your billing in to get paid, you know, because that's completing the project as well. And, you know, if you need help, you know, this is also give us, you know, a notice, not like I need you out tomorrow, because we have to plan for these site visits. But as far as the contract completion, you know, once we do the kickoff, you know, I'll be, you know, involved until the job is complete. So, you know, I will be kind of your point contact, you know, when it comes to the contract completion support.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Robert. We can go to the next slide. All right, so that's it as far as the contract development program is concerned. And I know I usually get this question through all these presentations, and on Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening, I don't expect it to be different. So somebody usually says, Carlos, this is great. I like all these resources. I want to do it. But how much does it cost? And I usually say there is no cost for any of these resources, except for the contract financing assistance program that is a loan. So you'll work that out once you get pre-qualified. But the rest of the services, there is no cost. All you have to do is enroll, and you pay in the form of time, effort, and energy. That's it. So with that, I am done with my presentation. So we have some time for more questions, and we can provide some answers. This will be any questions about anything you heard today. We're excited about this pilot program with General Services, and we thank you all for being here this afternoon. But please put any questions about anything you heard today in the chat, and we can get those answered. Okay, one question: can CFAP be used on private project or city public projects? Right now, it's public projects. And again, we will send the presentations that you saw today from everybody out via email. So if there was something you didn't get a chance to take note of, you will get that information along with that. All right, any more questions? All right, while we're waiting for questions, here's a survey we want you to take just to so we can get some more information about your business and where you are. If you have any questions for us, you can also enter that into the survey. So there's a link there. There is a QR code. If you're not on your phone already, you can take a picture of that and go directly to the link. We'll also send it out via email so you can complete it that way if it works better for you, to do it soon. But we recommend doing it now. That way it's done and out of the way, and you won't have to worry about it anymore. So I'm not seeing any more questions come in, but again, you will have the information. We'll send an email. So if you have any questions, you'll know who to contact. That'll all be highlighted in the email. So I want to thank everyone from General Services. I want to thank Allison, Ashley. I want to thank Naima, everyone from CBI, from General Services, from the City of Charlotte, all of my coworkers here, Robert. Thank you, Jason, who's been running the back end of this whole webinar and making sure it's running smoothly. So just thank you all for your time. And this afternoon, we appreciate you being out here learning this great information. And so we look forward to seeing you on the next one, and good luck as you pursue these opportunities.
I was going to say, be sure to enroll into the program. And, we do have our bidding estimate is the first week of October. So I'll be doing week 1 in person. So I'm looking forward to meeting some new people in October.
Yes, yeah. And if you are interested in enrolling in that email that you receive following the webinar, you will get all the information. You'll get an enrollment form or a link to enroll into the program. So all the information will be in that email. Thank you all for your time this afternoon and this evening, and hope to see you at a future webinar.